Hey guys, Felix Spring Tarot. So in my last Charlie Kirk video, well, not the last one, the second to last one, where I dealt with all the conspiracies, in one of the comments of these videos, a subscriber asked a question, and the question is, Phoenix Tarot, can you tell us why in the movie Snake Eyes they had so many similarities to this case, i.e., the case of Charlie Kirk's assassination? The movie came out 20 years ago and it named Charlie Kirkland being murdered by a lone assassin named Tyler. How is that even possible? Thank you. All right, so let's deal with that. I'll make this short and punchy. So, what the subscriber is alluding to, if you guys are unfamiliar, is that there was a film called Snake Eyes, which starred Nicolas Cage, and it was released about approximately 20 years ago, but don't quote me on the 20 years. And that film, Snake Eyes, has a number of similarities to the Charlie Kirk assassination. So some of the similarities were, and I'm reading, so the senator who got shot in the neck, the senator, I believe it was a senator or congressman who got shot in the neck, his name was Charlie Kirkland, very similar, of course, to Charlie Kirk. The lone shooter or the assassin, his name was Tyler. The female protagonist in the story was wearing all white, a white pantsuit. They had blonde hair. Erica Kirk, when she was at the memorial, she was wearing, she has blonde hair and she was wearing a white suit as well. This assassination of the congressman or the senator took place in September. In terms of the film, of course, the film took place in September as well. Apparently, some people are saying that the poster for the fight that the senator was attending, because it was a boxing match he was attending, apparently some are saying it said September the 10th. Others are arguing it said September the 18th. But either way, it was in September. So that's enough of a similarity. And of course, appears the resistance. The victim, this Charlie Kirkland in the film, was shot in the neck. And of course, Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck as well. And apparently in the film, I haven't been able to watch it, Israelis were involved. And people are alluding that the Mossad and Israelis, and I don't know, Israel, I don't know what this, but they're alluding that they were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination as well. So to sum all of that up, I think it's a PBT podcast, Valuentertainmnet podcast anyway. They summed it up really well, and I'll place a clip in it right here.
A politician is assassinated in the movie, and his name is Charles Kirkland. Okay, think about Charlie Kirk. This is very, very weird. Okay, he was shot on the left side of his neck. The film takes place on September 10th. Rob, that's the
date of the fight.
No,
this is what we were talking about yesterday.
This is what we were talking about yesterday. Rob, that's the poster. And then the boxer who's in on the plan, who's doing a diversion, he wakes up on the ring. His name is Tyler, like Tyler Robinson, and he's called the Executioner. Okay, Jesus. Weird. And then the tropical storm that hits in the film is called Hurricane Jezebel. And for some of you guys that saw Megan Kelly just did a piece. That's the name of the online magazine that allegedly hired witches in August to put a hex on Charlie. And the film, parts of the film were filmed at the Trump Taj Mahal and Hotel Casino. And the secret camera, which films the assassination, but the videographer doesn't let anyone know. And guess what the tagline is of the movie? Believe everything except your eyes.
So some of the leading theories as to why, and that's what the subscriber is asking me, why. A lot of the theories have ranged from it's witchcraft, it's the cult, that for many of these writers, they're channeling demons, and that's what's happened. Others have claimed that we are being controlled. They're aliens that are controlling us, and hence the similarities. We are being controlled by external entities. So there's that as well. Some people are saying that it's just coincidence that these things overlap. So when I checked in with my guides and I said, could you just provide an answer as to what's going on? They showed me a scene in my mind's eye from The Matrix. And I'm not sure whether it's the first, the second, or the third installment of it. But in this scene, Neo is going to see the Oracle. And Neo sees a child walks by and sees a child bending a spoon. So it appears that the child is bending the spoon with their mind. So, and in the film, Neo asked, so the film, Charles bending the spoon, and Neo asks, in fact, let me show the film and insert the clip here actually, because it's going to be easier for those of you not familiar with it. It's going to be easier for you to see it. And then I'll describe why my spirit guides showed me this clip. So I'll insert it here.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself.
The Oracle will see you now.
Right, so as you can see from the clip in the Matrix, Neo meets the child who is bending a spoon with their mind. And Neo is asking, how do you do it? And the boy says, do not try to bend the spoon. That is impossible. Instead, only realize the truth. There is no spoon. And what he means by that is the spoon isn't solid in terms of the way Neo thinks it is. The spoon is part of the matrix. The spoon is a simulation. So it bends because of Neo's mind. The spoon is not bending. It's Neo's mind. That is the real source of power. And what my spirit guides were saying to me regarding that, and I did cover it in that conspiracy video that I did that raised the question. It brings us back to simulation theory and the fact that we are in a simulation. At least this is one perspective on it, mind you. And it's a perspective I'm leaning towards in this situation and in this context. And it is that reality is a construct. And you can change and you could affect the way you interact with it. So people are wondering, oh my goodness, is the snake eyes a prophecy? Did the writers prophesize this or anything like that? And from my perspective, no, it's not a prophecy. What it is, and I'll go a bit deeper into simulation theory. And I'll close my eyes because I'm going to partly channel this as well. I'm not trans-channeling, I'm conscious channeling, by the way. So what they're showing me is that we, and some of you may be familiar with this term, there is only one thing and we are all it. So what they're showing me is a sea, like a sea of consciousness. And there's also remembering that we are souls having a human experience. We are souls that are in this physical vessel, that are in the flesh, and we're having a human experience. Now we could view our human experience as a wave that rises up from the sea of consciousness. The sea of consciousness is also the collective, and we are a wave. And as we rise up and form the wave, that's us souls as individuals. That's us souls having a human experience. In that wave, we are able to experience ourselves as distinct from the collective, as distinct from the sea of consciousness, as distinct from everyone else. For a period of time, that wave rises, and then it falls and joins back the sea of consciousness, and it becomes one with all that is. It returns to the maker, so to speak. It returns to the sea of consciousness. It returns to the collective. The collective mind, body, entity is only able to perceive itself and know of itself if it's able to have these individual experiences, such as the wave. So in the simulation and in the construct, they're just giving me Jake Paul and Logan Paul. I'll come to them in a moment. They're actually going to be very key examples of realizing that we are in a simulation and reality and how you could use it to your benefit. Yeah. Oh gosh. I hate it when things jump in. Where am I? Yes. So this sea of consciousness and this reality, if we want to have those individual experiences of that wave, we construct a simulation, we construct a reality. And in this simulation, we will have particular archetypes. We will have the paternal archetype, we'll have the maternal archetype, we'll have the parental, sister, daughter. We have all of these archetypes that have been created in this simulation and in this construct. We'd also have names, we'd also have various scenarios and situations and life paths and so on that play out. So many times when we have and these things have happened before, where we see a film or when we experience deja vu. That's another thing they're saying. When we experience deja vu, that's an example of sometimes in the construct, there's not just one construct. They're showing me like there are many different constructs all happening in parallel. Remember, time is not linear, right? Time, the past, present, and future, they're all happening at the same time within this construct. It's just for our minds being in this construct that we view time as being linear, but they're literally showing me that there are different paths, like they're showing me like lanes, all crisscrossing over each other, like a matrix, so to speak. And these different lanes they're showing me represent the past, present, and future. So the fact that you have a film such as Snake Eyes with the Kirkland and the Charlie Kirk and the Tyler and that sort of thing, and having that overlap now, if we consider that time isn't linear, that everything's happening all at once, and it's coming from a consciousness, archetype, and life path, and so on constructs. If we consider it that way, then it's really not surprising at all. Now, having said all of that, we are familiar with this. We are familiar with the matrix. We are familiar with the simulation theory. We've heard people like Candace Owens talk about it. We've heard a lot of people talk about it and reference it. And many times when people talk about it and reference these things, sometimes you could reference something so much and the term could become so overused that it loses its meaning and it loses its significance and potency that it holds. It's also a matter of Sorry, guys, just one moment. I've lost the connection. That's very strange. Why can't I say this? It's also a matter of our conscious awareness as a collective, elevating and expanding. And as I explained in my previous video, Charlie Kirk, the frequency of the collective is getting faster. It's speeding up, basically. And in the speeding up of us as a conscious collective, we are rising up, or some of us are rising up anyway, to recognize the outer boundaries or the framework of this simulation. So what they're showing me in my mind's eye, it's like the collective conscious rising, and we're beginning to touch the boundaries of the simulation. We're beginning to become aware. It's dawning on us the realization. We still don't fully have, some of us, the mental capacity to process being in a simulation and what that actually means. Like many of us don't allow it. We can't process it with the brain, they're showing me. We can't process it mentally. It's something that we have to feel. So when we go back to the spoon, they're showing me the spoon again. And when it comes back to bending the spoon with your mind, yes, you can bend it with your mind, but what is driving the mind and what's driving the intention and the power of the mind to bend the spoon? That is coming from the heart space. that intention to want to do it, that belief that you can do it, that belief in your God-given power, that belief in your divine spark, it sits in the heart, it sits in the heart chakra. Which is why when Charlie passed, it was so striking to me, because it's like his passing represented, it's like the Christos energy consciousness was downloaded in a number of people, or expanded even more in a lot of people. So a lot of spiritual people got upgrades, like I got an upgrade through it. It's not to say that Charlie Kirk had the Christos energy consciousness in him, and it was quite strong. But it's not to say that, it's to say that his passing and his assassination in front of all of us was meant to be that wake, and everything that has happened subsequent to that, they're giving me now, is meant to be part of the collective awakening. A collective awakening to our own inner power and the connection to our heart and our heart space, or at least it's the connection to our mental perception, or the way we perceive this world, to look at it objectively and for us to question. So us seeing the Snake Eyes film, it's sort of like, you could call it a glitch in the matrix if you like, or you could refer to it as the codes in the matrix being exposed for us to see it. Like they're showing me in my mind's eye now, as I said that, a film of Neo. You remember when I think he got shot by, no, Neo was Mr. Anderson, Smith, right? He got shot by Smith. And there were a whole series of codes that were coming down, these green codes that we associate with the matrix. It's like they're showing me that. It's like with the Snake Eyes film, and that's what I said, it's not a prophecy, it's code, it's simulation code that's being breadcrumbed to us. And those who are ready to be awakened on a mass scale are being awakened. They're showing me that there is something on the poster for the Snake Eyes film, like how many people saw the murder but didn't see a thing, or something like that. They're saying, like everyone is talking about, oh, they got shot in the neck, they this, they that. They're actually showing me that that quote is another thing of significance that people are missing. Right? So it's a matter of expanding your perspective. Don't get caught in the low-hanging fruit of fear, of chaos, of confusion, of judgment, because that's what you usually attach to conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories in and of themselves are mostly 100%, they turn out to be mostly true a lot of the time, because many times they're driven by intuition, they're driven by someone's gut instinct that something's not right, something in the milk's not clean, I'm not buying this. Like people are, there's something in the mainstream, I don't agree with it. And that's how conspiracy theories are born. But more often than not, these conspiracy theories are true. There is something in us that's not buying what this construct or what this simulation is presenting us. Right? So they're giving me this now. I hope this makes sense. I'm not remembering what I'm saying, by the way. I'm just talking. There is a freedom they're showing me. It's like when you don't get caught up in the low-hanging fruit of fear or hate or judgment or anything like that, that's just space. And when you're able to release and let go and connect with the heart space and connect with all that is and connect with your God spark, whichever term you want to use for it, that's up to you. And you breathe into that and you breathe into that realization. That is you stepping in to something else. You're stepping in on another plane of existence, still within the earth construct. They showed me two things. I'm going to go to, believe it or not, I think it's Logan Paul and Jake Paul, the two brothers. Okay, they're saying this channel me. Hang on just one moment. They're saying that if you go back, they're giving Jake and Logan Paul as an example. They spoke about this. They are an example of simulation theory and what you can do with simulation theory. What you can do when you realize that you have the power within yourself to create and construct your own reality. Thank you. That's why they're showing me, like, not apparently, we know that Jake and Logan Paul, they were just like YouTubers and influencers on YouTube. And they just transitioned out of that. And they would have these, girlfriends who were into porn, like I love me some Tana Mojo, but, And they plucked themselves, and they would have these big houses that they would rent, and a lot of people in the house, and they'll just film themselves doing, things to pass the time, to entertain people. And when they realized, they're telling me this, I didn't know this. Well, no, I think I heard them speak about this, but they're just showing me the image of it right now. When they realized that they had the power, that we were in a simulation and they had the power to create their own reality, what my guides are showing me is like they plucked themselves out of that reality construct that they were in, and they placed themselves in like combat fighting. And now they own that. They're telling me they own it. I think it's not really owned, but I think it's quite prominent in that space. They completely They completely changed their reality. And it was born, what they're saying to me, the point of that is it's born out of the seed of that, similar to that film with Neo and the Boy of the Spoon. They're saying that they are an example, one of many, many examples. Candace Owens is another example of someone who sees the reality as a construct, as a simulation, seeing it for what it is. And being able to, from their heart space and with their mind, sort of bend it like you're bending the spoon to create the reality with that they want. Creating the reality, they're giving me this last bit, creating the reality that you want, bending the spoon, that is. The point of it is being able to bend the spoon with your mind and knowing how to bend the spoon. It's not a matter of bending the spoon, but it's a matter of realizing that it's not about bending the spoon. That's also what it's about. Like many times we talk about, coming here and we need to work through karma and we need to work through this and we need to have experiences and we need to have that. They're showing me like that's all well and good and that's all well and true. But the ultimate thing is the spoon example. That's the ultimate. It's not a matter of brute force bending the spoon. It's a matter from our heart space connected with our mind, knowing that we are bending ourselves. It's the Neo's mind and its heart is the real source of power. Okay, I kind of remember what I said and I kind of don't. So it's a matter of the simulation. I just wrote this down. I don't know if I said it or not. I don't remember. I'll play it back. Apologies if I'm repeating myself. But when we realize, I've noted this about duality again, because I mentioned it in my last video on Charlie Kirk. It's like, if we realize that this is a simulation and it's just a construct, and if we can recognize or separate ourselves from, years of conditioning through beliefs, for instance. And it's no easy feat, like unpicking 30. Like many times the conditioning starts from when you're in the womb, right? When you're in the mother's womb. And it's the belief that we absorb either from our caregivers, from our reality around us, that makes us believe that we are smaller than we actually are. That makes us believe that we have to be fearful, that we have to be certain things. So if we are aware that we are in a construct or we are in a simulation, and if we are able to recognize these layered beliefs and conditioning, then that is a starting point to move into that space of neutrality. Because in the last video, we talked about duality. We talked about many times we're in the extremes. We're in the extreme of good and bad, and good versus evil, and we're fighting each other. And the point is to be in that neutral space, to be in the space of conscious co-creation with Source. So they're saying that is the aim, and that's the eventual goal. That's one of the things we're striving for. And very lastly, because I was sort of channeling, I don't know how long I've been talking for, so I don't want this to be too long. Very lastly, what's the last message? What's the last message? Yes. Very lastly, it's many times we as a collective and as a society, we think that there is only one way to do something. There's only one way to pluck a chicken. There's only one way to bake a cake. There's only one particular belief. So what I've given in terms of the sea of consciousness and the spoon bending, and in terms of us being in a simulation and so on, that's one explanation that this vessel is familiar with. But there could be many others that are influenced by the plane of existence and reality that you're on. And we're not saying plane of existence or reality to be woo-woo, but everyone could perceive something from different angles and different perspectives. And that's what makes the human experience rich. That's what makes us being souls in these physical vessels, having that human experience rich and exciting, and an experience like a rush on a roller coaster. And that's why it is so special for us to observe and for us to assist and deliver these messages, and to experience this with you through the highest divine light and peace and unconditional love. We appreciate this opportunity to come through and speak with you through this vessel. And we hope that we answered your questions. Right. I think that's it. I don't think that there's anything else. Yeah. So just stay awake to the patterns and stay awake to the little nuances that you see. And there's nothing to fear. Just be curious, just be interested. And it's your intention. Always come from a place of goodness, of light, of love, right? That's the best protection that you could have, particularly in this time of a lot of chaos and confusion and uncertainty. Okay, guys, so I hope that answered that question for the subscriber. Anything else, let me know. Thank you for watching to the end, and bye for now.